Have you ever wondered why some men seem completely spellbound by certain women, as if some invisible force is pulling them in, as if they simply can't resist? What is it that these women have that you haven't yet discovered? Today, I'm going to reveal a secret that very few women know. A secret that dives deep into the male mind, touching something so primal, so essential, that once you understand how to use it, you'll watch a man change before your very eyes. This isn't about tricks or shallow seduction. It's something much deeper, something discovered through years of studying the mind and human nature. Just imagine having access to a part of a man's mind that even he doesn't fully understand. A source of energy so strong that when you know how to work with it, it doesn't create a toxic obsession. It creates a powerful emotional connection, one that's deeply rooted in you. This is the power of male sexual energy when it's given real direction. And you can be the one who guides that energy. You can awaken something in him that he didn't even know existed. Maybe you've already tried everything. Magazine advice, tips from friends, books, or even relationship experts, but it never truly worked, did it? That's because most advice only touches the surface. It doesn't go deep. It doesn't reach the core of who a man is, that ancient part of him that holds his rawest desires and deepest longings. What I'm about to share is not about games. It's not about trying to control someone. It's sacred. It's about understanding the real nature of a man. It's about tapping into something that goes beyond the physical and even beyond normal emotional bonding. This is the connection that makes him think of you the moment he wakes up, that makes him feel you even when you're miles away, that makes him crave you in a way he's never felt before. And the most amazing thing is, it's always been inside you. It's part of who you are as a woman. You just haven't been shown how to access it until now. Today, everything changes. Today, you'll rediscover a part of your femininity that can transform not just your love life, but your entire world. Now, don't worry, this isn't complicated or confusing. I'm going to make it clear and simple. You'll be able to start using this today. And once you do, you'll notice something shift in the energy between you and the men around you. You're about to enter a different kind of reality. One where old relationship rules don't matter. One where you don't chase, you don't plead, you don't shrink yourself down just to be chosen. Instead, your presence becomes magnetic. Your energy becomes irresistible. This is the space that was once only touched by deep thinkers and philosophers. The space of masculine and feminine energies, of hidden selves, and the power of the unconscious. This is the space I want to walk with you through now. But before we dive deeper, I want to ask you something. If something in what I've said already stirs something in you, if it speaks to your intuition, please take a second and commit to this journey. Subscribe to this channel and type the word awaken in the comments. Not just as a word, but as a promise to yourself. A declaration that you're ready to rediscover this lost power within. Now let's keep going into the inner world that shapes love, desire, and devotion. To understand how to work with male sexual energy, we first have to understand the mind. One of the most powerful ideas that came from the study of human behavior is this. We don't just live on the surface. Our emotions, our desires, and even who we're drawn to come from deep within, often from places we can't name. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and felt like you already knew them? Like your soul recognized something in theirs? That's not just chemistry. That's something ancient, something beyond logic. We all have both masculine and feminine energy inside us. In a woman, the inner masculine is strong, thoughtful, and protective. In a man, the inner feminine is emotional, intuitive, and creative. That inner feminine is what makes him dream. It's what makes him long for beauty, meaning, and love. And it's where your power lives. When you, as a real woman, match the image of the feminine he holds deep in his mind, when you reflect that part of his inner world, he doesn't just feel attraction, he feels pulled. Deeply, uncontrollably. But not just to your body, to your energy, your presence, your essence. That's the difference between shallow desire and true obsession. Think of his sexual energy like a powerful river. If it's blocked or used only for short-term pleasure, it dries out. But if it flows towards something meaningful, towards someone who awakens his spirit, it becomes unstoppable, creative, alive, devoted. When you connect with that part of him, it's like you've opened a hidden door in his soul, a door he didn't even know was there. And once it's open, the feelings that pour through are bigger than lust. They're sacred. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about showing up in your full truth. It's about becoming a space he can trust. A space where his energy feels safe, where it feels wanted. Maybe you've noticed how some men come alive around certain women, how their eyes light up, how they lean in, how they can't seem to get enough. It's not because those women are perfect. It's because they're tapping into this energy. Even if they don't realize it, they're connecting with something deep inside him. There are 5 powerful ways you can do this too. First is presence, a quiet strength, a softness that doesn't demand but welcomes, not passive but open. When you hold space like this, he feels it. He doesn't have to prove himself. He feels safe to pour himself into you, not just his body, but his fears, his hopes, his heart. Second is deep communication. Not just with words, but with energy. The kind of communication that happens through a glance, a pause, a touch. The kind that tells him, I see you. When you speak with images, with feelings, with intuition, you speak to the part of him that rarely gets spoken to. Third is shadow work. Every man carries parts of himself he hides. His anger, his sadness, his fears. When you don't flinch at those parts, when you see them and still stay, you become unforgettable, because most people run from his shadows, but you embrace them. Fourth is polarity, that electric difference between masculine and feminine energy. It's not about old-fashioned gender roles, it's about balance. When you embody your feminine, whether that means softness, creativity, fire, or stillness, you call his masculine forward. You make him feel like a man. Not because you shrink yourself, but because you rise fully into your own essence. And fifth is mystery. Not secrecy, but depth. A sense of inner adventure. When a man feels like there's more of you to discover, more life to explore with you, he stays hungry. He stays curious. He stays close. All of this works on one powerful truth. Energy flows where attention goes. When you become the woman who holds his attention, not by chasing it, but by being deeply in your own energy, his desire naturally flows toward you. His passion becomes devotion. What I'm sharing isn't a trick. It's a way of being. A way of showing up every day, every moment in your full feminine power. And there's something beautiful about that. You're not performing, you're not putting on a show, you're simply becoming more of who you already are. And that's what makes you magnetic. This is what makes a man think of you when he's alone. What makes him reach for you, even when he doesn't understand why. What makes him feel like you're the missing piece. Not because you fixed him, but because you saw him. The journey of becoming your true self isn't just good for your soul. It's the very thing that makes you unforgettable. It's what allows a man's energy to meet you fully, not just in the physical, but in the emotional, the spiritual, the timeless. When you walk this path, life starts to meet you differently. Love starts to meet you differently. And the man who's ready, he won't just notice you. He'll feel like he's finally come home. Connections that don't drain you but energize you. Connections that don't make you smaller but help you grow. As you start using these ideas, you'll see small but powerful changes in how men respond to you. Not just the one man you might want to attract or reconnect with, but all the men around you. That's because what we're really talking about is a shift in your energy. It's like you begin to give off a new kind of signal, one that speaks without needing words. It says, I understand the mysteries. I am the mystery. And to a man, especially one who's tired of shallow encounters, that's the most powerful signal he'll ever feel. Now that you have a sense of how this works on a deeper level, let's look at the specific practices that help you turn theory into action. This is where everything begins to shift, where knowledge becomes power. The first and maybe most important step is realizing that male sexual energy isn't just about sex. It's a powerful force that runs through everything he does, his creativity, his focus, his drive to protect and build. It's the very core of his life force. When a man sends that energy towards you, he's not just attracted, he's creating. And that kind of desire goes beyond physical. It's transformative. To help him direct that energy, you have to start with yourself. You have to get in touch with your own sexual energy. That might sound strange, but it's essential. You can't guide what you haven't first awakened in yourself. A lot of women have been taught to disconnect from this part of themselves. Maybe you were told it's wrong, dangerous, or only for someone else's pleasure. But that energy inside you, it's sacred. It's your life force. It's how your soul expresses itself through your body. And when you embrace it, not to impress anyone, but to celebrate your own vitality, you become magnetic. Not in a way that fades, but in a way that lingers. Here's a simple practice to start. Each morning before you begin your day, take a moment to feel your body, all of it. Thank it for its strength, its softness, its ability to feel. Then picture a warm golden light in the center of your body. Let it glow. Let it grow. Let it spread throughout you. That's your energy waking up. That's you stepping into your power. And when you do this regularly, men around you will feel the shift. They may not know what changed, but something inside them will respond to it deeply. The second step is creating a sacred space of connection, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. Most men walk through the world wearing armor. From a young age, they're told to be tough, to hide their feelings, to never show weakness. So when a man finds a space where he doesn't have to do that anymore, where he can finally breathe, he'll crave it more than anything. You become that space. And it happens not by fixing his problems or telling him what to do. It happens by listening without judgment, by allowing him to show every side of himself and responding with presence, not control. When he sees that you're not afraid of his sensitivity, when he sees that you can handle his truth, his whole truth, he begins to associate you with emotional freedom. And once a man connects your presence to that kind of liberation, he won't just want you, he'll need you. The third step, and maybe the most powerful, is learning how to engage with his shadow. Everyone has one. It's the side of ourselves we try to hide, the fear, the shame, the desires we think make us unlovable. And for men, that shadow is often heavy. It holds everything they've been told they can't be. But inside that shadow, there's power. There's energy. There's raw truth. And when you help a man face those hidden parts, not to judge, but to understand, you help him reclaim himself. And the energy he once used to hide from himself starts flowing freely. Much of that energy will flow toward you. Maybe he's always tried to appear strong, never needing anything, but deep down, he does want to be cared for. When you make it okay for him to feel that, when you allow him to be held, not just physically, but emotionally, you break down walls. And when those walls fall, his energy is no longer stuck behind them. It pours toward you, not out of neediness, but out of truth. The fourth step is understanding the power of projection and reflection. We often project onto others what we haven't yet accepted in ourselves. In love, this is especially true. A man often projects his ideal image of the feminine, his inner vision, onto the woman he desires. And when you reflect that image in real life, the pull becomes almost magical. To understand this, pay attention. Watch what kinds of women he admires. Notice the themes that keep coming up in what he says, what moves him, what makes him stop and really feel. Every man's inner feminine is shaped by his past, his childhood, his dreams, but there are some recurring themes, archetypes that speak to all men. The muse who inspires, the healer who soothes, the warrior queen who challenges, the priestess who holds sacred knowledge. You don't have to act or pretend to be someone else. You simply choose to highlight the parts of you that naturally match his inner world, not to control him, but to meet him where his soul already is. The fifth and final step is about sacred union. In deep inner work, there's this moment of merging, where opposites come together and something entirely new is born. That's the kind of connection you're creating here. Not just love, not just passion, something beyond that. A fusion of energies that keeps growing, evolving, expanding. This happens when you learn how to balance giving and receiving, softness and strength, stillness and motion. When you're able to shift between these naturally, sometimes leading, sometimes surrendering, you keep the energy between you alive. You keep it dynamic. And that sense of mystery, of never being fully known, becomes the fuel that keeps his fascination burning. Men don't get obsessed with women who show them everything too soon. They fall for women who reveal themselves slowly, honestly, and deeply. And that unfolding, that's what creates a beautiful, lasting obsession. Not the kind that traps, but the kind that frees. The last piece is about ritual. Rituals ground energy. They anchor it. When you and a man share consistent, meaningful moments, things you do together often, they create a rhythm between you. It could be anything, a nightly ritual before bed, a way of greeting each other, a shared practice of silence or story or touch. These rituals tell his nervous system this space is safe, this woman is home. And over time, even when you're not there, the memory of those rituals holds the connection strong. When you bring all of this into your life, something incredible happens. You don't just change your relationships, you change you. You discover your power, not as something to use over someone, but as something you've always had inside. A quiet, strong, magnetic force that begins to shape the way others respond to you. This kind of change isn't about pretending, it's about becoming. Becoming fully yourself, owning your energy, walking with grace, speaking with truth, loving with depth. And it's in this space, this deeply alive, deeply connected space, that obsession doesn't feel heavy, it feels holy. The kind of man who is ready for this won't just be attracted to you, he'll be moved by you. He'll feel like he's been waiting for you without knowing it. And when he finds you, he'll know, not just with his mind, but with his entire being, that you are the one who awakened something in him he thought would never come to life. The specific man you wish to attract or reawaken will start to show signs, clear ones, that his energy is turning toward you. He'll begin to seek your presence in ways that go beyond the physical. He'll crave your thoughts, your spirit, the very way you see the world. You'll become his source of inspiration, not just someone to desire. You'll notice him becoming more alive, more expressive, more driven when he's near you, as if something inside him has finally been set free. His interest won't just be in spending time with you, but in growing with you. Your connection will turn into something that fuels both of you, a shared space for evolution, a place where you uncover parts of yourselves you never knew were there. Yes, desire will grow. But this won't be the shallow kind that burns fast and fades. This will be the kind of desire that touches every part of him, his body, his emotions, his mind, and his spirit. It won't be satisfied by just one night or one touch. It will renew itself over and over. This is what happens when lust is turned into love, when attraction turns into something deeper, devotion. It becomes the kind of bond that poets try to describe when they talk about lovers becoming reflections of the divine. It becomes sacred, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. It becomes a journey of endless discovery where two people keep unveiling new layers of their souls. This is exactly what was meant when it was said that love, approached with deep awareness, becomes a mirror for transformation. In another person's eyes, we see sides of ourselves we didn't know existed. When a man finds in you not just a partner, but a path to his own truth, when you help him balance his inner energies, his anima and animus, then the feeling he has for you goes beyond obsession. It becomes he, it becomes purpose, it becomes everything. But this path isn't always easy. Real transformation brings real challenges as you work with powerful energies in yourself and in your connection with someone else. Old things will come up, patterns, wounds, memories, some of which you thought you'd buried. Things will rise to the surface to be seen and healed. That can feel uncomfortable, at times even scary. You'll face fears you didn't know you were still carrying. And so will he. That's why compassion is not optional on this journey. It's essential. Compassion for yourself, compassion for him. That's why I talked about creating a safe space, because that space will be tested. The goal isn't perfection, it's honesty. Showing up with your whole self and being willing to accept his whole self too. That's where real power is found. Not in pretending to have it all figured out, but in being present even when things get messy. There may also be moments of imbalance, energetically, emotionally. Working with energy this strong can tip the scales if you aren't grounded. That's why I've kept bringing the focus back to you, to your practices, your body, your energy. Because obsession without balance turns into chaos. But obsession that's grounded in wholeness becomes devotion. It becomes celebration, and it lifts both of you higher. It's also important to understand this path is not for everyone. It's not the easy route. It requires courage. It demands a willingness to face your own truth and someone else's. It asks for openness, for risk, for real emotional exposure. It invites you to see the man not as someone who exists to meet your needs, but as a complete being with his own soul path, his own complexity. But for those who are ready, for those who choose this path, the rewards are incredible. Not just in terms of love or attraction, but in your own self-understanding, in the way you see yourself, in the way you come home to your own energy, your own truth, your own sacred rhythm. Because in the end, this isn't really about making a man obsessed with you. That's just the surface. What it's truly about is creating a field of conscious love where both of you grow, expand, and evolve. It's about taking one of the most powerful energies on earth, sexual energy, and lifting it into something sacred, something that doesn't hurt or divide, but heals and connects. And perhaps the most beautiful part, as you learn how to guide his energy with love and intention, you'll start to notice something else. You're also awakening your own. You're reclaiming the parts of yourself that were hidden. You're taking back the pieces that were forgotten, dismissed, or suppressed. You're stepping into an ancient feminine wisdom that has always lived inside you, in your blood, in your bones, in your spirit. And when that happens, when you remember who you really are, you don't just become unforgettable to him. You become essential to his journey, just as he becomes essential to yours. And from that space, a different kind of bond is born. One that doesn't fade with time, but deepens. One that continues to pull both of you into deeper truth, deeper feeling, deeper freedom. This is the kind of alchemy that becomes possible when two people are willing to grow together. when they're willing to do the work of love. Not just the feeling of love, but the practice of it. This is the potential that's waiting for you. This is the invitation. So start here. Start now with clear intention, with your heart open, with the courage to see yourself fully, because your greatest power, the one that draws him in, is not something you say or something you wear. It's not in the way you look. It's in the way you are. It's in your presence when you are fully alive, fully real, fully connected to the source of your feminine strength. That's what calls him home, not just to you, but to himself. And when a man feels that, he doesn't just feel attraction, he feels fate. He doesn't just see a relationship, he sees a place where his soul can finally rest. If something inside you stirred while hearing this, if your heart whispered, yes, this is me, then share this message. Not for likes, not for praise, but because other women need this too. This is about passing on wisdom, about reminding each other what we've always known but forgotten. And your journey? It's only beginning. Click into what's next. Go deeper, because your story, your real story, is just getting started.